Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoiler cast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, June 1st. We are back with some more Fantastic Four.
Oh, dang it. Dang it.
What a bunch of a-holes.
4 seconds later.
I know. I paused at everything. I knew it was there.
I know. I wasn't ready. I was on that sound bite's on like the 4th page, and I was on page 1.
Hey,
Nice.
all the
Fourth
fours.
page.
Yes.
Yeah. No pun intended.
No, it really wasn't.
All right. So today we jump from 1994 all the way to 2004 for this.
2005.
2005. Yes. Thank you. Chris Evans, Human Torch, Michael Chiklis as the Thing, Ben Grimm, Jessica Alba, of course, as the Invisible Woman, Ion?
No.
Ion?
Yeah, I always have to look up how to say this guy's name because it's Welsh, I think, but it's Ioan Griffith.
Ioan. Okay, that makes sense. Ioan Griffith. So, Fantastic Four, we get another origin story, and of course, battling Doctor Doom, and just the establishment of the Fantastic Four in the Fox universe. Watching this, I got major X-Men vibes when I was watching the intro. I know that they're both done by Fox, but I was just like, yo, hey, that looks really similar.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, a lot of the producers and people associated with this movie were also associated with X-Men and X2 and all that stuff.
I got you. Was Feige part of this as well? Because I know he was part of the X-Men stuff.
Yeah, he is not credited on this film. No.
Okay.
Now, he could be uncredited and have worked with them, but
Yeah.
he, as far as I was looking through all the credits and stuff, I did not see his name pop up.
Okay. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, whelmings, Jeremy, what is your whelming of this first released venture into the Fantastic Fours? Officially released. Apologies, because the other one's released as well.
Yeah. Well, compared to that one, I'll say I'm pleasantly whelmed.
That's not fair.
No, I'll just say whelmed to pleasantly whelmed, somewhere around there. I
Nice.
enjoyed it. It's a good. Honestly, I hadn't seen it in so long that I kind of forgot most of it. So it's been
I mean, that's
since
not too much.
probably a week or two ago that I saw it. So
yeah, exactly.
so, but yeah, it was yeah. I'll say, like I said, whelmed to pleasantly whelmed.
Nice.
I enjoyed it.
Nice. Richard, what's your whelming?
I'm whelmed. I've never really liked this movie. The only reason I think I like it now is watching it through rose tinted glasses is why it bumps me up from overly whelmed. Because this is one of those that it's not really a good, bad movie. It's just kind of a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not great. It's not terrible. So it's just kind of meh to me. I could take it or leave it.
Yeah. It's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I'm whelmed as well. I'm not unduly whelmed, but it's also one of those things where it's it's the Fantastic Four, so I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
But in like you were saying, this doesn't have anything that's fantastic about it and over,
Dang it.
stimulating.
Soft.
Just this did give me a reason to understand why Feige did not go the origin route.
Mm.
We didn't really get a whole lot of origin stories when it came to the MCU. We kind of got a little bit of one with Thor, and of course Captain America. That was an origin story. Iron Man, Tony Stark was one as well. But from since then, we didn't really get a whole lot of origin stories from out of the Phase 4. And I appreciate that, honestly.
Yeah,
like
me
this movie honestly helped me to like really appreciate what Feige's done as far as like storytelling when it comes to that.
At most, with a origin story now, I just need like he's already the hero, or she's already the hero, whoever it is, and like there's like a little flashback of how they became the hero. Like that's all I need. I don't need this whole like half the movie is devoted to them becoming the hero, and then the other half is wasted by him fighting like the evil version of himself.
So is that kind of? I mean, for this one coming out, I mean, is that they're not worrying about giving us a origin, right?
I don't think they are. I think we're just gonna, if anything, they'll have a flashback like where they're up in space and they get hit with the cosmic rays and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
same. That's
I hope
It
so.
looks like we're just getting a flash. Oh, and that's only from that one scene where like Pedro Pascal is holding Sue, and she just kind of like fades in and out
Mhm.
as far as like being able to see her, and so
Yeah, I got you. So I guess one other question I had real quick on this one is: this like, are these supposed to be like in canon or anything, or part of the MC universe or anything like that, or just
Which ones?
no?
Like the one
No,
that we
like-
watched or the Pedro
Right.
Pascal one?
The one that we watched, like the Alba, Jessica Alba one, saw it.
I don't know. I'm gonna say more than likely we're probably gonna get a little Easter egg of the Council of Reeds, which is the reason why we're even watching all these now. So
Yeah.
they may have. I gotta look how to say his name again. Ioan Gruffudd as that version of a multiversal Reed,
Okay,
but I don't
not
think he
it.
is like quote unquote in the MCU. No.
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, because apparently one of the leaks coming out with the Fantastic Four is that rumor mill is that Chris Evans is doing another version of Johnny.
Johnny. He's probably my favorite standout character, honestly, from these. He does a great
Yeah.
Johnny, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He does do a really good for Chris Evans to be very like timid
Mhm.
and like very to himself. Like he's a very
Yeah.
charismatic actor when it comes to that.
What's so funny looking back on this too is like Jessica Alba's kind of the big draw here. Like she's the bigger name star. Like Michael Chiklis had The Shield,
Mhm.
and Ioan Gruffudd. I don't really know him from like I know he did some like I don't know ABC doctor show that went on for a long time, but
Mm.
so like Jessica Alba's more of the big draw here, but then later on Chris Evans goes on to become like the bigger name actor, and then
Yeah.
her kind of stardom kind of fades and dies away, and it's just kind of interesting seeing the like juxtaposition there in this movie.
Mhm. Yeah, very much so. Starting off, we get like an interaction between Reed and Doom,
Mhm.
and I do not like their relationship. Like I like the 94 version much better than this version. Like they skimmed over the whole like in college we talked about working together and all this other kind of jazz.
Yeah.
And it seems so surface level where like I feel like 94 did a much better job story wise, like
Yeah.
kind of giving you those vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I agree on that as far as like there in this before I never really knew that that Victor and Reed had any kind of connection really
Yeah.
before like discussing it with here or watching the other movie, things like that. So just if you just were watching from those movies, yeah, you would have never like you would have just thought that Victor was a guy that paid for the space adventure and took the girl away from Reed. And that's about it. Like, so I will say I like that they gave more of that connection, that history between the two of them in the 94 movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate this Doom. Like I like the actor. the actor Julian McMahon, I think is how you say his last name. But he was from at the time it was a super popular show I think on FX or something. It was called Nip Tuck. And he was kind of like the antagonist there. Casting wise, he looks doomish, like he's like whatever, like an attractive man. He is very petty throughout this movie, so I like that. I need the Eastern European. He needs to sound like a Transylvanian vampire. And I honestly, one thing I noticed when we were rewatching this, I'm like, this is just Norman Osborn. They just made Doom Norman like literally the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is Norman is doing this thing, and then the board decides, hey, we're pulling out and you're going to be broke. So then Norman kills everybody that's on the board.
Yeah.
And it's identical to this.
I didn't even think about that. So you said that.
I didn't either. But the other thing I was thinking about too is like, I didn't get from this one that he was actually, that he was very intelligent. Like you wouldn't be able to know from this movie that he is an intelligent man. That like he's just, again, that you just, from this, you would just think he's just got money and that's about it.
Yeah.
Type thing.
What do you mean, Jeremy? At one point he says to Reed, we're both doctors after all.
Yeah.
He even talks about being one step ahead.
Mm-hmm.
He does. And he tries to give him was his the Kim 101? No, or yeah.
Yes, Kim 101.
Both of them did the Kim 101 lesson.
I did like his interaction with Ben. Like, I thought that was very Doomish of him to sit there and like actually weave this thing of like doubt and mistrust and whatnot like that with Ben and Reed and all that other jazz. I did like that, and to use it to his advantage, of course. You know, so I thought that was very Doomish, but like it made sense for the movie. So I try to like give it a little credit there, but I'm with you. Like, I don't like this metal skin. Is his mutation Doom? I don't like this. He's like a mutant almost, where he can control electricity. Like, I know his armor has electrical properties, but like this idea that he can like pull electricity and zap, like, I don't know. I didn't like that. And I wish that he actually had like part of like talked about his mother or magic or something. Like, I wish he had that kind of aspect of it.
So, okay, so there's a couple questions in there.
Let's get sweaty nerdy now.
Yeah.
Why is it always
because
So first off, like, what exactly is his power set?
He has lots of money.
He's really smart. Like uber fucking smart.
I mean, so I've explained this before. He is just Iron Man, but evil. And his mother was a witch, so he can use magic.
So who is his mother again?
His mom is just a witch. Like, it doesn't matter. She's a Latvarian, which is Eastern European. So again, it's like Transylvanian, kind of like dark, stormy, you know, that kind of vibe.
So,
and
no relation to like Scarlet Witch or
no.
What's her face?
No. Like witches and warlocks and vampires and werewolves, all those exist in the MCU as well. So no, she's not related to Scarlet Witch or anything like that. Matter of fact, one of the books I want to read about Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment is basically Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange are teaming up to recover his mother's soul from hell because she had to make a deal with the devil. And because of that, her soul is eternally damned to hell. But anyway.
So the storm didn't do anything to him?
No. That origin has nothing to do with, like, Doom's never in space with the Fantastic Four in the original comics. Doom is just a guy that went to college with Reed and they had an accident and it fucked up his face. And depending on the comic artist, sometimes it's just a little scar or sometimes it's really fucked up. Like he's missing like a nose and stuff. But that's why he wears his mask. Like, in other words, he was a monarch. In other words, he's like a king of his country, Latveria. He was probably a prince at the time. He went to study abroad. So he went to America to study and learn, is where he met Reed at, what is it, Empire State University? I forget the name of the college that they go to. But anyway, there was an accident. His face got fucked up. So then he just retreated and became a recluse in Latveria. He then later on, like, decides he sees Reed because they become super famous superheroes, and he's like, oh, it's that guy that fucked up my face. Since I'm a petty bitch, I'm going to make Reed's life a living hell. And he has ever since then devoted his entire life to just fucking with Reed.
Huh.
So like, yeah. So by all
Can we put that clip in of Doom now?
You know, I thought about pulling that. I'm so mad. I may put it in post.
That's okay.
Yeah, like Doom is supposed to be Iron Man, but with also magic.
Yeah.
Like Doom has a suit of armor, and it's not like a, you know, like whatever knights, kings, and queens suit of armor. He has like an Iron Man-esque suit of armor that can shoot, you know, ray blasts, all sorts of stuff. And because his mom knows how to use magic, he knows a little bit of spells, so he can do stuff like that. And he's like Reed level intelligence. The only thing that kind of gets in his way is his own ego.
Mm-hmm.
So he's smarter than Tony Stark too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Doom would spank Tony Stark if he wanted to. But again, usually Doom's issue is that he's too full of himself, so he misses something and then ends up failing. Or they make it a Doom bot, because that's another thing that always happens. Is like if they defeat him, it's like, oh, it wasn't actually Doom, it was a robot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's why Tony's won against Doom however many times.
Yeah.
They've gone against each other several times over.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they wind up going back in time. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing with Morgan Le Fay? She's an Arthurian character from King Arthur times. That's a love interest of Doom because he has a time traveling platform and he can travel back in time, and he, you know, he's got mommy issues. So of course he's in love with a witch.
I do like the mentions of Latveria in this movie. Well, I like the mask being like a thing from Latveria, even though it was a human whatever, like
humanitarian aid.
Yeah. Like even though it was that, I like that, and then I like the board being like, "Why don't you go back to Latveria?" I like those.
I remember when I was telling my wife, like, I was like, they don't even mention Latveria. I was like, I remember the end of the movie where he gets put on the shipping thing and then the boat. Yeah, the shipping container. And it says like Latveria on the back, but I don't remember them mentioning it. And yeah, they mentioned like the guy in the parking lot's like, why don't you go back to the old country, Latveria? And I was like, okay, they did mention it, but I in my opinion, they should have just made Doom, like he's a monarch of his own country, and Reed goes to Doom in Latveria to get money because NASA rejected him. He doesn't need to be some CEO of Doom Corp or whatever it was called.
That's, I was gonna say, a little on the nose with Von Doom Industries there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it did help the story like move along, but at the same time, I hear you too. Like, I don't necessarily think you had to have done it that way, but it also would have come across more of like, this guy's seriously a villain. Like, you know, he's creepy and a villain.
Well, like,
you know,
yeah, no, I like that's what I like about though in Latveria. Like, I think the cartoon Earth's Mightiest Avengers do it. The comic has done it where like the Avengers show up to Latveria and they expect like, I don't know, like it's an old like king and queen knight kind of town. Like there's bales of hay and like a wagon and like horses and stuff. But like it's not like Wakanda like advanced, but it just looks like a normal Eastern European town with electricity and clean streets and stuff like that. And they're always surprised, and the people of Latveria are like, no, Doom's great. Like he's amazing. He's a great leader. And that's kind of cool. Like, even though he's a villain, he is a great like leader of his country. And I think they should have done something. Like, I think that would have been a cool, like, you know, jarring moment, like kind of to let your guard down. You see like, oh, this place is nice and whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, he doesn't have to waltz up in there in all of his armor and stuff like
Yeah,
that either.
exactly.
Like he can come in there. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to look like the typical like it doesn't have to look like fucking Nosferatu or something like where it's this big castle on this winding mountain and it's storming and lightning.
Well, after the Fantastic Four get their powers, they go off to one of Doom's facilities to like start doing some research. And Johnny, of course, is not having anything of it. And because it's 2000s, like we have to have a snowboarding or sky surfing scene in this movie.
Yeah.
That's the best
No,
scene.
it is. This movie, one of the things I wrote down was like, this movie is quintessential early 2000s. Like to its soundtrack, to like, there's an X game promo in there. There's so many ads for like drinks that were like so popular back then, and some have stood the test of time. But like, I remember seeing at one point there's like Code Red, and Sobe. If I don't know if Sobe's still around, but Sobe, like some kind of like herbal energy drink or something.
Yeah.
I forgot about that
that.
Yeah.
Well, you were even playing a clip before we got like started of the camera and the flash, the memory stick.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And him like rattling off the numbers for it. And you're like,
Mhm.
just to date this movie.
But yeah, like also the thing that's so funny to me that I noticed, and I don't know, but like the girl that he's doing the snowboarding with, who's like the nurse, it's Maria Menounos. And the only reason I say that is because you may know her from the Nuvi commercials that play during the movie when you're like waiting for the movie to start, or those annoying ass gas station commercials.
I did not know that.
Because every time I fill it with gas, it's like, "Hi, I'm Maria Menounos from blah 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 blah," and I'm just like, "Oh my god, shut up, mute."
This is where you've gone to. Ben's transformation scene came across as if he had a shit he really
Right.
just could not handle.
I mean, he said it was bad shrimp.
Like,
Anyway, yeah. That's some really bad shrimp.
man, I was just like, whoa, Ben, you're gonna make it there, buddy. You're gonna explode a little bit.
What did y'all? Okay, so I wanted y'all to keep in the back of your head. We've kind of talked about Doom. We haven't really compared him to the other Doom, but what do you think of this thing versus the last thing that we saw?
That's like one is this one. It seemed like having like really big hands. Like his hands were like bigger than like proportional to his body. It seemed
Yeah.
like
He's also missing a digit.
he's missing a couple because it was like just the three. Like,
He had
It was
three
like he had-
fingers and one thumb.
oh really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like the
Ninja
like,
Turtles? No.
Ninja Turtles. Yeah,
Wait a second. Are we talking about Ben or Doom?
Ben.
Yeah, we're
He
talking
said
about
Ben.
Ben.
Okay, I thought he said Doom. That's why
Well,
I was like,
mentioning how we talked about Doom, but now since
Got
you mentioned
you.
things, sorry.
I apologize. Please continue.
No,
Carry
you're
on.
fine.
Oh yeah, no, but I did. I mean, other than that, I probably liked this thing better than the other thing.
One of these things is not like the other. One
Yeah.
of these things. Okay. I like both, honestly,
Yeah.
in the sense of I like the costuming of both. I like the face of 94 better. However, like stuff syncs up and you can like at least like see the guy's eyes and they don't look too bad. Like Michael Chiklik's eyes
Yeah.
in this one. So like it's really a toss up for me. I like that they did practical suits in both of them. So kudos to them on that.
Mhm.
But I think I like the face of 94 better than this one. And that's the only difference for me as far as like what I prefer over the other one.
Yeah. I too. I like the unaired Roger Corman. I like that face design better. It's more of the Jack Kirby with the
Mhm.
very prominent bridge brow. There's my dyslexia. Brow ridge. And the like, I don't know, the like Homer Simpson kind of esque mouth, if you will.
Yeah.
And this one just looks like Michael Chiklis with rock skin. Which is a thing, like they're going for something. I
Yeah.
get that, but I think I prefer the Jack Kirby kind. I do love Michael Chiklis's voice for the Thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
His like gravelly New Yorky kind of accent is great. It is, for the longest time after this movie, whenever I would read something that had the Thing in it, I would just read it in his voice.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah. I like the detail of the pebbles in 94 as well.
Mm.
Like I think that's another thing, because this was more spaced out,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't think is bad, but it's just going off of like things. But no, I'm with you on the voice. Yeah, I like this voice a lot better.
Mhm.
A lot of people online still say that the Corman one is better than this one, which I think is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I get Ninja Turtle vibes from the Corman one. So
Mhm.
like I try, you know what I mean? Like that, like the course Ninja Turtles have a really special place in my heart, but like I appreciate it for what it is. I think
Yeah.
it's one of the better parts of that movie. But Chiklis is, I think, a better actor for the Thing than what's his name?
Yeah. I got
or
you.
what's their names?
Yeah, because it was two different people.
I like the way that Ben was wrote in this. I like the way that he performed Ben in this, because he was very animated about certain things,
Mhm.
and he would get like kind of aggro. Like I like the dynamics of Johnny and him in this
Yeah.
a lot better, because they're always kind of a duo and kind of
Mhm.
like, you know, pals that get onto each other's nerves.
Mhm.
So especially the shaving cream scene, I love that. That's like one of the highlights of the whole movie for me, is the shaving. Like Chris Evans' reaction.
Yes,
of,
that's what I
like,
was going to say.
hands in the air,
Yes.
walking away. Like,
I was going to say, Chris Evans sells that scene because of
Yes.
his reaction.
yes, absolutely.
Now, if you're going to ask, like, at some point about which, like, Doom I liked better, I can actually understand this one. So that already makes it better.
I hate like when he finally goes full Doom and puts on like the whole costume, like they just ADR his voice. Like it doesn't sound like he's behind a
Yeah.
mask or echoey or any like robotic or anything. So it sounds weird. It looks and sounds weird to me.
They should have just, I guess they finally learned their lesson and just, did that so they could get Bane's voice.
Yes.
Correct.
The Bane voice is terrible.
That could have been hilarious.
I do think that the 94 Doom was probably better. I think I like that actor better. Like, even though it's hard to understand a lot of the things that he says, just some of the stuff when like sitting down and actually like trying to like decipher it, like the outro for the video we did for 94, like just the way he called them children and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and belittled them. Like, I really like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I like, personally, between these Dooms, I like the 94 Doom. I will say they fix Doom in the next movie, but we'll get into that when we review it. They do a lot better with Doom in the next movie.
I can't remember if they fixed the CGI more in the next movie or not, because Reed, like, I think it was good for the time, but now I don't think it's carried over very well as time is going on.
So yes, I agree. Most of the Reed stuff looks bad. Like it does not hold up at all. The putting his hand under the door, I
Right.
thought looked okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Johnny, surprisingly, I thought I remember it looking bad. I'm like, this actually looks pretty good still.
It's not bad. There's
Yeah.
a few moments where it's like patchy fire. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that looks, but like when he's like fully flame,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when he's going,
it looks
when he's
okay.
in the test chamber and he's going like supernova,
Mhm.
and then when he's like trying to outrun the heat-seeking missile, all
Yeah.
that looks really good, which I was surprised.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like the cartoonish flopping around trying to block a laser beam thing.
flopping
Yeah.
around.
And one of the things that to me that I was surprised about and why I am like not underwhelmed and I'm whelmed is like they did a lot of practical effects still, like not just with Ben being like the Thing, but like the scene where, and it's a good scene to show off like all their powers and they're doing like hero stuff, but when they're on the bridge and the fire trucks like crashing and
Oh,
all this
yeah.
stuff, when Ben goes to like grab the back end of or the front end of the fire truck, and he's like trying to pull it, but it's like slipping away and his feet are digging into the like asphalt. All that's like practical. And I don't know how they did it, but like it still looks good to this day.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one of the biggest benefits of practical. Like it seems to carry over a lot better than a lot of the CGI stuff.
And like him and Doom fighting in that like garbage truck was like crumpling and stuff. All that's practical. So it still looks like it looks kind of silly, but at least it holds up. Like the CGI doesn't like, because there is none, the CGI doesn't look dated or anything like that.
Did you notice that Johnny in this movie would say flame on to turn full Human Torch in this one as well?
Well, he did it on the first time, but it's not like he's the Winter Soldier and it like activates. It's just something he says.
Right. No, I know it's his catchphrase or whatever, but I was just watching this movie and he started doing it and I was like, oh, maybe he does have to like psych himself out and be like, all right, turn on, flame on now, let's go. Talking back at the bridge with Ben, we start getting this other story with Ben and his wife Debs.
The true villain of the story.
No joke. No joke. Ben's doing a lot better now with Alicia Masters. Shout out to Alicia Masters, by the way.
Right.
Like, I like that character. I don't know why I do, but I do. Like, blind woman that's sassy. I don't know. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
And like, so much better for Ben than this Debs woman. First of all, I was like, I didn't realize Ben was ever married. I don't know if that's a comic book thing. I don't know if that's legit.
I don't think it's legit either.
I didn't think so.
I don't remember him being married.
But I don't like this added, like he was married and like she's like, you know, for better for worse, except for if you're a big old stone man, I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. Like, get the fuck out of here, lady.
Especially because like, he's not that scary looking. Again, he just looks like Michael Chiklis with like a rock skin. Like he just looks like Michael Chiklis. So like, her reaction I wrote was just absolutely over the top. Like, especially because he sets up, like, it's like if he went to war and came back, like he got blown up or something.
Right.
And, like he's like horribly disfigured from that. And he's like trying to tell her, he's like, hey, remember how we, told each other better for worse? He's like, so here I am. And then she just like recoils in horror like it's an old Frankenstein movie. And I'm like, that is absolutely unwarranted. Also, she's out in her nightie in the middle of like Yancey Street. Like it's just fucking weird in general. And then at the bridge, she sees him again where like everyone's cheering. And then she puts the ring down and runs off. And I'm like, what a bitch.
Right?
I'm just like, and then they add, I honestly, it's just so we feel sorry for the thing. I think they knew that just him being a rock man wasn't going to be enough for us to quote unquote feel sorry for him. So I think they added this whole aspect of Debbie leaving him because of it. Because like it's so heartbreaking when he's trying to pick up the ring and he can't.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you ain't wrong.
But also, like, she's after more whenever she comes running out in the middle of New York in her lingerie too. Like, I mean, seriously, like, I don't know. She just, she's not she's out there for that extra attention.
She said she had a surprise for him. We all knew what that meant. Come on now.
Yeah. Deb, literally, when we were watching this, I was just like, Deb's the truth. Like, she's worse than Doom in this movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, fuck Debs. Fuck Debs. Like,
I wrote with that, since you're mentioning all that, like, it reminds me when he goes and breaks in and he gets his iconic trench coat and fedora hat.
Yeah,
he gets it from a big and tall store. And I was like, thank God for obesity. The other thing, too, is when he's trying to dial the phone, it made me think of the Simpsons episode where Homer is so obese he can't dial the phone anymore, and it's like,
yes.
I'm sorry, the hand you are trying to dial with is too fat. If you would like a special dialing wand, please smash your palm against the keys now.
Another thing with the fire truck scene, I thought this movie had like really good action scenes. Like when there were action scenes, I felt like they were really good. I felt the suspense in the space part where it's like, you know, it's going to happen, but it was almost like, is Ben really going to make it? Like, is he actually going to get over there in time?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have mattered either way. Like they all got hit whether they were inside or out. So like it didn't matter, but still it was just, I think they did a good job with the suspense there. Of course, the bridge scene we've been talking about the whole time here, like I thought that was done really well. The fights with Victor I thought were done good for the most part. I don't know, I like the action that was done in this movie for the most part, and the action, the comedy I think is what saves this movie for me.
Yeah. Well, I love on the bridge, the start of it where like Ben's sitting up there and then some guy's like going to commit suicide or something. And then he sees Ben, he's like, oh yeah, you think you got problems?
Yeah. I wrote a note. How many people died trying to save that one asshole? Like, because he jumps down and then it just makes this big car pile up.
Like a lot. Like, well, I take that back. I think no one died thanks to the Fantastic Four, but had they not been there, it would have been some crazy like Final Destination Rube Goldbergian like death trap.
Yeah.
Well, you could also go into the thing of like, if they hadn't been there, if the thing hadn't been there, then they
Here's
probably
the
would have been one person.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it all starts when he jumps down to try and save the guy from getting hit by the 18-wheeler.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then then the pile up just
So it's Ben's fault.
It is Ben's fault. It's absolutely Ben's fault, which is why they think he's a monster. On top of, the way he looks.
Yeah. He's a giant rock man.
Right. And you mentioned something about Johnny going supernova in the apartment earlier. Would that not have melted everything around that freaking cube? Like, I know he didn't go supernova in the apartment, but still, just the amount of heat that he was putting off, like, I feel like not only would that cube have melted, but everything around it would have just been like, meh.
Yeah, especially because, like, I want to say you can see that it says titanium, and I'm like,
yes.
I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure titanium's not good for holding in heat. Usually, like if you're doing metal work, you want one of those like forge where it's like ceramic and stuff. And then he also has like vent holes, which I know Johnny needs to breathe and fire needs oxygen, but like, yeah, it would have been like this little like furnace, and it probably would have melted through the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the mention at the start of the film when they're talking about the like space suits that end up being their super suits. They mention that they're unstable molecules, which is a thing from the comics. Reed makes them costumes that are made of unstable molecules, which is just a bullshit nebulous term to be whatever it needs to be. But it is why the costumes that they wear can be on fire but not burn up, go invisible, stretch around the Rock like body, and then stretch around like Mr. Fantastic's like rubbery stuff.
Yeah.
What's funny, like going through this is like, and I've been watching some of the other Marvel movies with my son, and playing Marvel Rivals, and so he'll be like waiting. And he's like, so is this when they say it? Their ultimate
catchphrases.
Yeah. And it's funny, like that in this one, you get supernova and clobbering time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And flame on,
yeah. But that's not what he says. When you're doing
in
your
Rivals,
alt. Yeah.
And
when you do your alt, like they'll say different catchphrases. I forget. I'm trying to remember what Mr. Fantastic says. I haven't played it in a while. I need to play it. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember Fantastics. But yeah, like Johnny's is he'll holler like supernova, and then of course Ben the things he'll go, it's clobbering time, and do his thing.
I did think that scene where Johnny runs in with the action figure. I was like, the voice is horrendous, but I like it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Michael Chiklis's voice, and then they just like changed the pitch of it to sound like a tiny version of himself.
It's clover inside.
I love how he smashes it. Stan Lee's in this, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know if it's his first like cameo appearance, but this is the one and only time Stan Lee plays a character from the comics. He's playing Willie Lumpkin, who is a character from the Fantastic Four comics. He's the mailman that is in the Baxter Building.
Oh,
He's not featured in a lot of comics, but he is featured throughout their history. And yeah, Stan Lee's playing Willie Lumpkin, and it's the one and only time. The rest of the time is just him making a cameo as like, I don't know, a person watering their lawn.
DJ in a strip club.
DJ in a strip club, yes.
No, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for me, man. The only other thing that I thought was hilarious that my wife pointed out was whenever you see Victor in the boardroom with all the other like boardroom people, they are sitting in the most comically large, oversized chairs that I've ever seen. They look incredibly comfortable, but they're also like ridiculously like they clearly made them to look menacing, but they don't. They look like it makes the people sitting in them look like children.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, I'm done with my notes as well. So, Jeremy, do you got anything else?
No, that was pretty much all I had. I had my questions earlier. So
Nice. All right. Well, do y'all recommend anybody watch this Fantastic Four?
I do. I like I said, I enjoyed it. It's you know, you get the origin story somewhat, and I mean, granted, it's not. I don't know. I got watch 94 and this one. Like you suffer through the 94 to see the relationship between Doom and Reed, but yeah, I enjoyed this one. I think it's a decent one to just kind of start off with for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I don't. I really like I hated this movie back in the day. I really did. Like I just absolutely could not stand this movie. And watching it now, I'm like, okay, so some of the VFX and a lot of the practical stuff keep like at least makes it hold up as far as like rewatching it. Though there was, I forgot to also mention this, when Doom punches the like elevator, I think HD, 4K kind of does it disservice, but you can clearly see that they just put like silver makeup on his like knuckles there. I don't really like origin stories that much anyway, so I'm kind of like skip this. If you want to rewatch this, skip it. If you're interested in seeing it, whatever. But I'm not a fan of this.
All right, then. Cool. All right, we'll be back next week doing the sequel.
You didn't recommend it?
Oh, I have to?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you like origin stories, yes. Outside of that, if you want to possibly be ready to know who this Reed is, if we get him again, or even this Doom, I don't think we'll get this Doom again, but just in case, like maybe. But I feel like, and this is also just going off of memory, I feel like the sequel was better, but I could watch it here this week and then be like, oh no, fuck this. God bless. No. So don't take my word on that either. But I feel like maybe wait. And if you're wanting to know these characters, maybe wait and see what our realming is on the sequel that we'll be doing next week. So y'all come back for that. In the meantime, Jeremy, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. That's Night with a K. And you can find me here.
Awesome. Richard?
If you want to contact me directly, I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram, a Blue Skies, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, possibly TikTok, we'll see, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X.
I'm glad you did that because I was going to try to work in another Fantastic Four to give you the opportunity to hit the button again. And well, and I didn't have to do it now. You can find me on Instagram, eBay, and Shortbox, 22_comics. You can also find me on YouTube at 22 Comics. Thank y'all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did make it. Well, all being said, say goodbye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
The fingers you have used to dial are too fat. To obtain a special dialing wand, please mash the keypad with your palm now.